And I'm Kathy Growth, Publications Promotions Chair. So we are going to get started. Welcome, everybody. It's growing every month. Every month we have more and more. Today we have 27 people registered. That is so great. This is how we get to know each other. This is how we can support and promote each other, buy each other's books, give each other reviews. So please continue to join us this 1 hour every month. Which reminds me, next month, December, we do take off. And then January, we will start up again. So let's spread some book buzz. Share on social media, review for each other, ask your librarian to add these books tonight to their collections. So here's what we're buzzing about tonight. Each Day is a Gift by Lisl Detlefsen. Tonight is her launch. So she is not here. She's having a fabulous launch. She sent a trailer that we can show for her. The Adventures of Granola, Squatch and the Mysterious Present by Landa and Tom Penisten. CLARA'S KOOKY Compendium of THIMBLETHOUGHTS and WONDERFUZZ, which Joyce is a contributor for. We have two. Valerie Biel has been a busy girl. She's got two out. Haven and Beyond the Cemetery Gate. Susan Apps-Bodilly just emailed me tonight and said something has come up. She can't make it, but we are going to talk a little bit about her new book, Timber, a NORTHWOODS story of lumberjacks, logging, and the land. Then Terri, the illustrator, is going to tell us about Annabelle. Vanessa Marie Lowe is the author of that one. Annabelle and the Search for the Serengeti. And O is for Pig. I can't even see the author's name, but Terri will be telling us about her. The Wind by Debra. And Deb, help me with your last name. Is it Moioffer? I should have asked you earlier, Deb.
Yeah, it's pretend the first O is silent. It's Moioffer.
Moioffer. Okay, very good. And then WT Kosmos, Maya and WAGGERS, Mega Gossip. Those are our books tonight, lots of books. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to give each author a few minutes to tell about their books or anything they'd like to share with us instead of the normal format of me asking questions. Okay? After the authors talk about their books, starting in January, we are going to add a half an hour called Beyond Book Buzz session, and we're going to pick topics that you have all expressed being interested in, Book Buzz and beyond. And we're going to talk about marketing, social media, podcasts, newsletters, how to do a book launch, school visits, query letters, book reviews. We've got so many great ideas from all of you that we're going to add that extra half an hour if anybody wants to stay on and attend those starting in January. The other change for January, we are going from the third Tuesday of the month to the third Thursday of the month. So January will be Thursday, January 16th. February will be a different date and June will be a different date. So we will announce those as they get closer, but otherwise it's going to be the third Thursday starting in January. All right, now let's get the buzz from tonight's presenters. We'll start with Valerie Biel.
There we go.
Get it, Valerie.
So I'm talking about two books tonight. I've got 8 minutes, right? So I'm going to try to be as efficient as possible with this. So I'm going to talk about Haven first. So Haven is my recently released middle grade. It is taking on the tough topic of domestic abuse through the eyes of a preteen, which is, you know, there's some tough topic books out there for kids, but this was, of course, something that I was very concerned that I was going to handle properly. And Kathy Niebuhr, who's with us tonight, was one of my early readers. And as she's been a middle school counselor, right, Kathy, guidance counselor, she, you know, I was really very glad when she read it. and gave me some good feedback. Also, I had a child therapist psychologist read it as well. So before I get to that description, I wanted to put that out there. So we'll see what happens with the rest of the world and how they're receiving it. So far, so good. It's only been out, I think, what are we at now? 2 weeks, woo. So this is the description. Taking only what they can quickly pack, 11-year-old Mardella and her mom secretly move away from her abusive drug-dealing father to start a fresh life in the one stoplight town of Haven, Minnesota. But Mardella's sure she's to blame. If only she hadn't dialed 911, her dad wouldn't be in jail, her mom wouldn't have been fired, Mardella would still have friends, and they wouldn't be starting over. She knows she should be grateful that her mom's new job at Rest Haven Senior Living gives them a place to live. But the over age 65 residence is a boring, rundown, funny-smelling place. Even so, Mardella volunteers to make their new home as cheerful as possible through colorful projects. She's surprised that she soon has new friends of all ages, but when her father gets out of jail, angry and determined to find them, Mardella realizes she's made another mistake, one that might destroy her chance at a new happy life. This time, it's up to her to fix everything and keep her mom and new friends safe. So there you have it. But the best thing for me in the whole production process of this was getting to see my characters come to life in the illustration process. And so for those of you who do picture books, like you know what this is like. I did not know what like this is like. So this was super exciting for me. I had gotten bids from different illustrators through Reedsy, through a company that Ally recommends, and also found actually the illustrator I went with online. And I just kind of, back checked with her other clients because I could see what book she's illustrated just to make sure, like she was legit and everything because she's out of Arizona. I do not know her, so I had to check on that. But she's got, there's 8 interior illustrations plus, of course, the cover. And it was just the most fun process. I'm so jealous of anyone who can illustrate because I can't draw. I handle words, but so I know we've got an illustrator with us tonight too. So it's just, this was special. This was special. Now this book has been around a long time. I don't have an agent right now. The agent I did have, she submitted it. It went around and around. I got lots of requests for fulls. It went to committee, almost made it through at a major publisher. So, I mean, I knew it had enough gravitas. It had, I'd done my due diligence with it. And so I ended up indie pubbing it. I've independently published before. I have an award-winning fantasy YA series out. So while I wanted publishing partners with this, I'm like, this is too important. This is my project that's been hanging around forever. So I really wanted to get this out into the hands of young readers, and older readers are enjoying it too. So far, it has reached #1 new release status on Amazon in its primary category. I know, kind of flipped me out. Like when I saw that little orange banner on there the one day, I was like, woo. So that's about this story. And, so far, so good. Then, because, you can't just do one, you might as well do 2 at the same time. This is my first try at a mystery novel, YA suspense mystery. And I really took this on because I wanted to see if I could write mystery. And what happened with this book is that I got partway through the process and I realized like writing a straight mystery wasn't quite cutting it. And I realized I needed to add a different kind of layer. So I switched gears. So instead of the main character, us as a reader being with the main character the whole way through and just knowing what they know as clues are revealed, I switched it to a suspense novel where the reader knows more than the main character, right? So you're like, don't go in the basement, right, with the reader. But I mean, there's no well, actually, wait, there is a basement, but I'm not going to give anything else away about that. So this was super fun to write. I ended up then with 3 points of view and 2 timelines. And this is the most difficult, challenging kind of format that I've ever taken on. And I am just very pleased, that how this turned out. So here's this description. When the police rule her dad's death an accidental overdose, 16-year-old Chloe refuses to believe it, vowing to find his killer. Alone against a potentially corrupt small-town police force, Chloe learns that her dad's life as a cemetery caretaker masked a web of family secrets that quite possibly led to his death and are now putting her in mortal danger. So I guess really the best thing about this whole process was just that I was able to write something that is a satisfying mystery suspense novel. That alternative point of view thing was the magic sauce, that made it all come together. So it was kind of fun just to, figure out like, switching gears. Nobody likes to do that when you're, full tilt writing something where you stop and go, this isn't working. I need to go back a little bit and figure out why it's not working. So I had some really good advisors on that. Sylvia Acevedo, who many of you know, was one of the early readers on this too. And once we figured this out, it was like, yeah, this is it. So we know that feeling, like that exciting, got it kind of feeling. This one has also hit #1 status on Amazon and new releases for one of its categories. So that's also good. About me a little bit when I'm not writing or pretending to write. I am, well, you know how that goes. I am helping other authors with book promotion and marketing because that's my background before I switched gears to writing full time. I teach a lot of workshops on craft, also on book marketing and promos and all of that business and your online, image and how you should go about handling all of that. I am the host of the Books and Beer Book Club that is usually once a month in Columbus, Wisconsin, and also online. That's for grown-ups, hence the beer. And I'm also the co-host of the Wisp Misses podcast with author TK Sheffield, who I think is also a member of SCBWI. She writes in the children's market as well. So quickly, best marketing advice. I think for these two launches, the best thing I did was to secure as many advanced reviews as I could. And then those got posted in advance to Goodreads and BookBub and even Barnes & Noble because I was on pre-sale over there. And then those were queued up. People were ready to go once it was release date to get them on Amazon. It really helps to launch with reviews there so that people, have that social proof and know you're a good bet when they don't know anything about your writing yet. The other thing then for ongoing marketing, Facebook and Amazon advertising. I do that all day long for other authors. So it sounds scary, but it's not once you start to dive into it. My next project is the 4th book in my Circle of 9 series. Deb held up the first book in that series. I have promised, I don't know, I think I'm in trouble now, and this is going out right to everybody in the world. I have promised Irish Fest in Milwaukee, the 4th book in that series, Irish Fest 2025, which is August. Wish me luck.
Wow, that's all I can say. Wow.
Oh,
You were one busy gal.
oh, you're amazing, Valerie. And if anyone has not read any of her other books, this Circle of 9 series is, I have all the books. Don't make me walk over and get them all. But it's wonderful. Valerie is an incredible writer. One of those can't put down kind of writing, and very talented. Yeah, and I'm not surprised that your story Haven went to meetings and things like that.
So close.
But I do have to say that Haven, that hits home. That hits home with a lot of kids. So that is, I'm very proud of you for writing that.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, we have The Wind and the Seasons by Debra. Now I get to say it right. Moioffer.
Thank you.
I offer.
My offer. That's okay. It's a difficult one, and I married the name. So for the longest time, I didn't know how to spell it either. So, I'm excited to be here. This is something new for me. I was told to get involved in some organizations, and so somebody recommended this one, and I'm so very glad I'm here. So thank you. I kind of, put out that I launched my new book with actually my 4th book, The Wind and the Seasons. And then you approached me, and I'm here. So I'm very excited about that. This book, I do the writing and the illustrating for it. So some of my books, well, I'll talk about this book in particular first. So this book is it's kind of an introduction for young children about the seasons. So it's definitely a read-along book. that parents would do, or caregivers would do, and it's in a rhyming format, and it basically talks about the wind, and it tells the story of each season. So I incorporate that. I try to incorporate the illustrations that are pretty vivid, and all of my books are watercolor. So I try to get them involved in that aspect of it so that they can see them and just love the colors and just look at them and get involved with the book. So of course it's rhyming so that they'll keep that going forward, and then basically at the end I like to incorporate different things where they might have an activity, or some things to talk about with the kids. And in this particular one, it's an activity, and it also has things where they can go back and, did you see this bird? Go back and see if you can find this bird, or find this pumpkin, or things like that. So hopefully it's talking about the different seasons and enjoying them. I came up with this one, mostly it came to me because of the artwork that I did first. So some books I start with an idea with the poetry first, and the other ones I start with the drawings first. So this one I had the 4 different seasonal drawings, and that's how I came up with, how can we introduce this? How would you introduce this to young kids? And from there, I came up with the poem with the wind telling the story. So I don't know much about marketing at all. I have done some advanced reader groups because I heard that's what you need to do. So I'm working with that. So Valerie's information is just fantastic. And in the new Book Buzz format with those topics after, I'm going to be advocate to watch them and learn from them and go forward. The one thing I have done to get my information out to like schools and libraries is I actually just donated them to my local schools and libraries, and then just introduced myself. A lot of them know me just from the community anyway, but they didn't know that I wrote books. So as I used to substitute teach, I was an educator. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts. It's in interior design, but I use that to incorporate the colors and the stories and those kinds of things. So I do have other projects, don't we all? Have plenty of other projects in the pipeline. One of my books is Dale the Quail. My husband has a game bird farm, so I want to introduce children to the different game birds. And so we had Dale the Quail, and that is introducing northern bobwhite quail and other kinds of quail to young children. The next one in the series is going to be Tucker the Chucker, and he's going to be involved with Dale the Quail in a big berry race. So that is kind of in the works right now. I'm working on some of the I've got the poetry done, but I just need to finish up some of the sketches and get those going forward. So I don't know what to tell you about my books. I don't know if there are any questions. I go through Amazon right now for self-publishing. I actually am actively looking for a literary agent, or looking for a publisher to do the hardback copies instead of just the paperback and the digital. I have done a audio version of my first book, The Colorful Dragon. So looking at doing some more of those. Somebody asked if I do digital. I do take my sketches and put them into and enhance them in Photoshop. So yes, that the color, it helps bring up some of the things, because I usually work on a very smaller format. And so sometimes I'm taking parts and pieces of the different scenes that I've done. So, any other questions? I don't know.
And we'll definitely take questions at the end too. Feel free to put them in the chats. Your cover is beautiful, Debra. So you have
Thank
your
you.
watercolors throughout.
Yes, yep, I do the watercolor throughout. And that's just kind of my thing. I think it's a great resource, a great medium to work with for me. And I enjoy it so much. So
Wonderful. Thank you. Good luck with that and your
thanks.
future ventures. Wonderful. Terri, let's go to you next. You have one of your authors with you, and you are talking about your 2 books that you have illustrated. You have Mary Biel with you. So why don't you start with O is for Pig, both of you?
I think you're muted, Terri.
I am. I said, do you want to go first?
No,
Mary,
go
you wanna
ahead.
start?
You're a
Okay.
member of the group and I'm here through Terry's invitation. Thank you very much for the invitation, Terri.
Okay. Well, Terri Einer, and I am an illustrator. I've been illustrating since 2019. I'm a fine artist. I started as a fine artist and my niche is kind of critters. And so I actually had a lady contact me and wanted to do a book, and she just liked my style, and that kind of launched me and got me going. And I am a traditional painter with acrylics, and I also do digital. So even with my traditional, I've self-taught myself how to pull those into Photoshop and enhance those, as Valerie said. So my first book with Mary is called O is for Pig. I can't see myself on my screen, so I don't know if I'm showing up.
A little higher.
There-
I'll hold it up
there
for you,
you
Terri.
go.
There it is.
That's awesome. Oh, and Mary had it up too. Those,
Okay.
it's adorable.
So this is it's in rhyme, and it's a twist on the traditional alphabet picture book. And she has, it appeals to the imagination of young readers as they identify images on each page that truly do begin with the featured letter. So this was just a super, super fun book to do. She has a list at the in the book. And so like on A is for ants and armadillos and alligator, apples, etc., etc. So my challenge as an illustrator was to, how in the world am I going to incorporate this list of words into one scene without just spot images? So, for example, can you see? A is for babies because they say, ah. So I had to put apricots in there and an abacus and an alligator. And so it was just super fun to create these scenes and, you know, get them all on one page. So again, this one was traditionally done. It was done in acrylics, and then I pulled it into Photoshop. Let's see, a little bit more about me. I've done 19 books so far. And my other, yeah, yay, right? I'm semi-retired, so this is just kind of my side gig. So I would say it takes me about 3 months on average to do a book. Because I don't do it all day long, you know, and I don't do it every day. So my process is pretty much the same as if I did it full time. You know, I talk with the author first, meet with the author, do the rough drafts, we do the storyline, then, you know, they approve the roughs, and then I'm off and running. So that's kind of the process. We'll go back to Mary, I guess. I'll take care of this, and then we'll go back to Mary. So this one was also traditionally done. This is Annabelle and the Search for the Serengeti. And the author actually took a safari, and it's a story about Annabelle the giraffe, a book falls out of a Jeep, a safari Jeep, and it's about the Serengeti, and she just wants to see this wonderful place. And so she goes searching for it, only to find out towards the end that that's where she already lives. So, again, traditionally done, and it was all the scenery. I had to incorporate the little birds along the way that are in the Serengeti. She wanted to show those, and so
What a
Mary,
talent.
say more.
Wow.
And
Mary,
this
you
is-
want to say more about yours?
Sure, I'll just piggyback. And first of all, thank you for inviting me, Terri. I live in Northern California, and I found Terri through Society of Children Book Writers and Illustrators. I was looking for someone who really did beautiful traditional painted pictures with of critters. And I love that Terri says her specialty is critters. And I do very whimsical children's picture books. And I have found I do not illustrate, so I have found that finding the right illustrator is just paramount to bringing your book to life. If you're doing picture books, I've written published 9 books to date. 7 of them are picture books, and the inspiration for writing I find in different places. O is for Pig actually was based on what my 3rd son. I have 4 grown children, and when my 3rd son was in kindergarten, he was given the letter O to illustrate for his ABC book, and he drew a picture of a pig. And his kindergarten teacher said, "Christopher, pig does not start with O." And he said, "But they say oink." So O is for pig because they say oink. And he was 5 years old at the time, and I knew he had that creative mindset. I'm an educator, and I could just see through a variety of things, including his interpretation of the letter O, that he was going to be a creative, and he might be the square peg in the round hole when it comes to school. I'm a special educator, and Christopher is very bright. He did well in school, but I could see he had that creative mind. And to no one's surprise, he is a graphic designer today. He does not illustrate. People ask me why he doesn't illustrate my books. Well, because he is not an illustrator. But I do have to brag that he did the title font for the book. When it was coming out, I worked with a wonderful formatter. Again, thank you to Terri, and Christopher put a spin on the title. So I think pulling together the right people for the team is just critical. My books are very whimsical, very lighthearted, but they always have an element of hope or resiliency or positivity to them. And Valerie, I love what you said. One young adult novel. I didn't mean to write a novel. I am a children's picture book writer. Accidentally wrote a novel. It's called Maddie's in the Middle, and it's about resiliency and growing up in a chaotic family. And is my life ever going to get better? And yes, her life does get better based on her choices. So again, that young adult theme. And I lived in Minnesota for 12 years, so I'm almost a Midwesterner. 3 of my 4 children were born in Minnesota, so it's nice to be back. Thank you for including me.
Mary, you're really good at your marketing. Do you want to tell them a little bit what you do to market your books?
Well, I'd love to get some tips from Valerie because my marketing approach is very labor intensive. But I am having a great time. I do have the luxury of being a retired educator. I was a teacher and school administrator for 40 years, retired, and accidentally started writing books. I'm a runner, and when I run, these ideas come to me, and there you go, and you have to have an outlet for them. But I started going to farmers markets in the area. And of course, California has very nice weather most of the year. And just started doing that about a year ago, thinking, well, along with the produce, why not some books? Early literacy is important for families. And it really has been very, very positive. One thing led to another, and I've done a lot of book fairs and different holiday events, but it's very much my physical presence there. Coming up on Sunday, and Terri knows this, is kind of fun. We have Penny the pig, who is a real pig, joining us at Fowler's Farmers Market so that children can meet Penny the pig while they purchase their issues of O is for Pig. And now I've teamed up with another gal who does beautiful cookies, and she has little piggy cookies she'll be doing at the farmers market as well. So a lot of kind of labor intensive efforts. I've I've done author readings at schools because I have a lot of contacts in education. I've done school assemblies, pre-order copies of the books before I speak to the different grade levels, and I tailor the assemblies for the different age groups. But so far as doing the online presence, just really getting going with Instagram now and Facebook, and I have a lot to learn in that area.
Wow, thank you, Mary. Boy, you've got a lot going too. What talented people we have here. And thank you for joining us at
Thank you.
SCBWI Wisconsin. We're happy to have you. We'll have to check out
Thank
your
you.
other books.
Oh,
Kathy,
I should mention, I'm sorry, I should mention I write under a pseudonym. I don't write as Mary Boyle. I am Mariah Clark Skews, my pseudonym. And the whole backstory on that is on my website, mariahclarkskews.com. But briefly, my mother was a very unusual person, and that was the name that she used to enroll me in kindergarten with. And so as a tribute to my very unusual mother, I am writing under that name.
That's cute. Cute story. Thank you. Okay, we are going to jump to WT Cosmos, Maya and WAGGERS Mega Gossip.
Yeah. Well, first, thanks everybody for being on here. I'm kind of still new to this. It's kind of my creative outlets the last couple of years. So very excited about, let's see if I can get that clear on the screen. There we go. This is the second story in the Maya and WAGGERS series, and it's coming out actually this Friday. You can pretty much get it anywhere digitally or in print, or go to my website, wtcosmos.com. So this book was inspired by a number of things, one being a parent of somebody who's now a teen, and an educator of almost 30 years now, and also a dog owner for I don't know how many years. It's kind of it's a pretty wild story. But I don't know about you, but one thing I've noticed in all of those different roles, especially the parent and the educator, and I would say also just as a concerned citizen, some of the things I've noticed about what youth are exposed to in terms of social media and online content and gossiping and those sort of things. I kind of have a wacky creative brain, like maybe some other people on here, and I thought, well, why not write a hilarious children's adventure story about it? So basically in this story, you have Maya, who is a girl who really, really wants to be famous, and she wants to be an influencer superstar. And so she decides she's going to post some pretty provocative post on Mega Gossip, which is the fictional island of Puddinhead Island's hottest online social media platform. And it kind of, well, the quirky neighbors around her don't exactly take positively to some of her provocative posts. And so it creates a bit of a community uproar. And so she is thrown into this kind of wild adventure with her best friend and her, what turns out to be an extraordinary puppy who has some talents that will be revealed in the book. So she learns some unexpected life lessons, and there's some unexpected twists, and it's kind of in the spirit of Roald Dahl. If you follow him, he's kind of one of the people that I write in the influence of. So it was a really fun story to write. The illustrator is Spitzmullins, who's also in Wisconsin. Also did the illustrations for the first one, Maya and WAGGERS, which is I Have to Scoop What? So you can guess maybe what that book was about. So anyway, I'm looking forward to this coming out, and it was a lot of fun to write. In terms of, you know, some of these other things, I feel like I'm still pretty new to this profession. I agree with what other people have said. I've learned, like, really trying to get those early review copies out and get people reviewing those and posting those is really helpful. I've also heard that it helps if you write a series. So I thought, why not? I'm going to try to write a series, and we'll see if the first one helps lead into the second one. And then in terms of, I've got a couple other ideas of things that are in the pipeline, but haven't landed on those. Usually I work full time, and so usually my most productive writing time is during the summer. So that's when I get a lot of writing done. So again, thanks everybody for being on here, and happy to take questions at the end.
Wonderful. Do you have a plan for how many in your series?
There will be, I think, four. So the next one I don't want to reveal yet. You'll get a hint of it at the end, but this is it's kind of an over the top borderline satire, but it's really for ages 8 to 12. So it's even though some of the topics, right, can get pretty heavy later, this is more of a, what I would say, of a preventative way to like enter into conversations with kids about online safety and, just social media responsibility, digital citizenship. And I think this book has multiple entry points into, like, I can't believe a kid would actually do that. But again, I can tell you as a parent and as an educator, like, it's pretty crazy even what 7 and 8-year-olds are doing online now.
Right, absolutely. Thank you. We look forward to the next ones too. All right, good luck with your books. Do we have Landa and Tom on, Kelly?
No, they are not. They did not appear, so we'll skip over them. One thing that I
Okay.
want to mention before I forget is in the comments, if you scroll back up a little bit, Joyce made a really nice document listing all of your books, all the authors here, their books, the name of the book, the author name, and also the link where it can be purchased. So if you are interested in any of these books that are talked about tonight, then please go back and you can download that document right from the comments.
Wonderful. Thank you, Joyce. And speaking of Joyce, you're up.
All right. Well, mine is very different than everyone else's. So I actually have a little PowerPoint. Sorry about that. I do.
Oh,
So here it is, as soon as I get everything out of the way. So this is the 5th anthology that I'm in. 3 of them with Janet Wong. And Janet Wong and Sylvia Vardell are editors of Pomelo Books. And so I know her from being an organizer of the WSRA, the Wisconsin State Reading Association conference, where she came and spoke to the students. So I'm in 3 of her anthologies, and this one is very different. It is actually for English language arts teachers to use, but it is so fun. So you can see I've got a little arrow on the side where I am way on the end of all these amazing poets, and you see huge names, and then mine, tiny little, I am really a student of poetry, not an expert. So what I know about poetry from being in these books, from writing for Janet and Sylvia, is that wonder, that awe, and the gift of language really pours out of me when I'm doing poetry. And I do write picture books in a lyrical style as well. So you'll see the little whale here because when this project started for CLARA'S KOOKY Compendium of THIMBLETHOUGHTS and WONDERFUZZ, I was beginning my research on humpback whales, North Pacific humpback whales, for a picture book I'm writing. And so you'll see my little whale here because he's so cute. So the goal for this project was English language arts lessons. And so what Sylvia and Janet asked us to do is to really think about all of these, and you'll see them in different colors, the kinds of lessons that they wanted to target. And then they said, you pick some and write some poems, and then we'll pick and we'll put them all together in a theme. So I started out with superlatives because I thought, oh, that would be fun. Well, here it is, a little poem about my whale research. Well, it's a terrible poem. And Janet was like, can we go back to the drawing board? And I'm like, yep, we can. But it's definitely curiosity driven, because I'm, researching these whales. So I'm learning all this stuff about whales. And I thought, oh, let's put it in a poem. Okay, so tried another one. This one still on superlatives. Third draft of this one, probably more than 3. But I'm still really stuck on how I can get this going. So I submitted to her, I think 10 poems, and she gave me this answer. I think my favorite might be the very simple AKA draft and AKA draft 2. Maybe minus the second line, second to last line, but followed closely by your RSVP. So I switched from superlative, lesson for superlative, to acronyms. And I had a blast writing these poems. So I have 2 poems in this book. It was actually a hot off the press selection in October from the Children's Book Center. So I'm proud to be in this with these amazing poets. So here's mine. Not mine yet, no. What Janet did was she had Clara, the character who is throughout the book, and she talks and she asks questions. So THIMBLETHOUGHTS are questions, and WONDERFUZZ are questions as well. So facts and questions. So my questions were, humpback whales have brains that can weigh up to a ton. Oh my gosh, I did some research on that. And sure enough, their tongue is like the size of a little Volkswagen Beetle bug car. And then, yes, humpback whales teach their calves how to survive. So the whole book is filled with these little facts and little questions. And my poem that called AKA is a short form poem. And this is a copy of what's in the book. So you'll see that there is Patricia Fran's poem here and mine. And it is so ridiculously simple. And it works because what a short form poem does is starts with this very simple and goes to grow the momentum throughout the poem. In the book, there are spots for the kids to do things with their teachers or with their parents at home, homeschooling on their own, doesn't matter. The other poem that I have is RSVP. I'll read that one for you. I tried rhyming. Oh my goodness, I'm not a rhymer. This one took me a long time and probably is, a lot of people would say, no, Joyce, don't rhyme. So RSVP. Respondez s'il vous plaît. I really need to know today. It's a party at the lake. There will be birthday cake. Are you coming? Yes or no? Count you in? I sure hope so. And then what Janet did was she did the thimble thought. She just defined RSVP. And then asked a ridiculous question, do wild animals celebrate birthdays? And one of the lessons at the end of the book, so the book has an entire set of lessons. So each time you'll find a lesson. And this one was, put a picture or drawing of yourself in your compendium. So the kids are encouraged to collect poems. This book is an anthology of poems. So the compendium is a collection of things that the kids want to do in their journals. So here's my bio. Joyce P. Uglow is a picture book author and poet obsessed with unearthing wondrous information about the natural world. And what Janet wanted us to do was to use something from our poem in our bio. So you'll see there JPU. And then ARA, Assistant Regional Advisor. You'll see that I am on Blue Sky and Instagram, and my book, my picture book, Stuck, the story of La Brea Tar Pits, comes out on March 4th.
Wonderful. And I can put a plug in for Stuck because I've read it and I was blown out of the water way beyond my wildest expectation. That is a book I want to keep for my own grandkids. So I'm anxious for that to get out of the world, Joyce. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you to everybody. We do have our two authors that we promised to do just a real quick little bit for them. So Kelly, if you will pull up Timber by Susan Apps-Bodilly.
Sure can. Hold on here a second.
This one, and Joyce, I'll have you say a few words too. You read it and loved it. So when I'm done reading the synopsis, if you wouldn't mind adding your thoughts too.
There you go.
So Timber, a Northwood story of lumberjacks, logging, and the land by Susan Apps-Bodilly. How did the logging boom begin? What was it like to work in the woods? What happened to the land after the trees were cut down? The latest book for young readers from father-daughter duo Jerry Apps and Susan Apps-Bodilly explores the origin story of Wisconsin's logging boom, the devastation it caused to the land, and the extraordinary efforts to restore the cutover land and log sustainability. Joyce, you read this. Your thoughts?
Yes. So I am also working on a picture book called Sawyer and the Pines about Northwoods white oak forest. My cousin has a sawmill. So when I saw that this book Timber was coming out, I pre-ordered it right away, and I have read it twice because it is absolutely amazing. It's the history of Wisconsin, and oh my goodness, what we did to our land and how we ruined it, and then we thought we could plant, crops on it. No, it's the land where the trees grow. And so loggers and log jams, and there were no pictures of my grandfather in here. I mean, he was a logger, and so was my uncle, in the same area. So that's why I read it so many times. You have to read it. It's marvelous.
Wonderful. She would be thrilled to hear you say that. She had something come up tonight. And then our Lisl Detlefsen, she was on last month. She is just amazing right now, what she is doing. I follow her on Facebook and Instagram, and she is one busy gal. She sent us the trailer of her most recent book, Each Day is a Gift. So Kelly, we're just going to play that.
There you go. Okay. Ready.
Coming in November. Excellent. So that is Lisl, yes. And hers is out already, so you can check her out. And that is everybody. Wow, what a great group tonight. We have 6 minutes to spare. I saw some questions pop up.
Well, should we do the book giveaway now? Do you want to do the
Sure.
book giveaway and get that done for people that have won the books? Are you ready?
Mhm.
All right, very good. So every day is a gift, which is what we just saw the Instagram trailer for. Kathy Niebuhr-Lathrop, you won that one. And in just a minute, I'm going to put my email into the chat. And all you have to do is email me your address, and I'll get your address to the author. So again, Kathy Niebuhr-Lathrop won Every Day is a Gift. Joyce Uglow's CLARA'S KOOKY Compendium. That was won by Colleen Quilici. So again, Colleen, if you send me your address, I'll get it to Joyce. Valerie's books, Haven or Beyond the Cemetery. Debra Moioffer, she won that book. And so Debra, if you could, when you send me your address, if you could also let me know if you'd rather have Haven or Beyond the Cemetery. You get to pick which one you want. Timber was won by Erin Crossy Minch. don't know if I probably pronounced that right, Minchk. So Aaron, again, leave your address in the email it to me. The Wind and the Seasons, that was won by Joyce. So Joyce, you are the winner of the Wind and the Seasons by Debra Moioffer.
Actually,
And
Kelly, you
what's
should
that?
really pick somebody else.
We have a large number of people that I had first drawn out, and they are going to be watching it on the recording. So anyway, would you like me to pick somebody else, Joyce, or would you enjoy that
I
book?
would. As the assistant regional advisor, I really can't accept that.
Sure.
Thank you,
Okay.
though.
So Wind in the Seasons, let's go with, I'm just going to put on my paper and put a thing on it here. Let's make that one. Terri, you won the Wind in the Seasons, Terri Einer, okay? So Terri, again, give me yours on that one, okay? Your address. And Maya and WAGGERS by W.T. Kosmos, that Catherine Reed won that one. So again, right now I'll be putting my email in the comments, and get me your address early this week so I can pass them on to the people that need it. All right.
Okay, and I am also putting in my address. I have some of our authors send books to me, and then we add them to our SCBWI collection, and we take them to conferences and festivals and conventions and things that we go to, and then we help promote your books as well. So I will throw in my winter address there, along with Kelly's For You book winners. All right.
Kathy, may I just add one thing quick?
Of course.
So in February, the Wisconsin State Reading Association will hold its conference in Milwaukee. And I have purchased a booth for myself, but I'm going to put up the SCBWI flag. I would love when you see the email come out that says, hey, do you want to join me in the booth? Send me an email. And so I'll put a schedule together for that. Kathy's in the South for the winter, and so I'm gonna take over that little role just for February, just for that couple of days.
One event, and thank you, Joyce. I still might make it, but it's not for sure. I'll send the books either way. Wonderful. Okay, did we cover the questions in the chat, or are there other questions? We try to stay on schedule, so we only have 2 minutes.
Looking through the questions, it looks to me like most of them are covered. Again, if you want links to any of these books, they are in the chat as well under a file called November Book Buzz Books. From looking at it, looks like all of them are covered, and I am so impressed. So it was wonderful to hear about all of your books. I can't wait to go out and buy them.
Talented people, authors and illustrators. Wow, a very impressive group tonight. Thank you all for being here. Please plan to continue attending. Our attendance is growing and growing, and we're getting to know each other so much better, supporting each other, and that's what SCBWI is all about. Again, we will not meet in December, but we will meet again January, the 3rd Thursday of the months. So that will be January 19th. So mark that on your calendar. Look for the email to register, and have a great holidays. Take care,
16th.
everybody.
January 16th.
16th, yes, 16th. Thank you, Joyce. I had 16th written down and said 19th.